welcome to fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. I'm here with the wonderful Nick Hunter. Hello, Nick. How you doing?
Hello, Marge. Hello, everybody.
Good to see you all. Today we are finishing up fundamental layout design in FileMaker with Nick Hunter. I believe we're going to be covering double click today. I think that was one of the topics mentioned. Nick will be finishing up the series as best he can. I'm sure that we'll have another design series at some point in the
Yes.
future because this topic there's a lot. But for the moment, we
Yes.
are wrapping this up. Real quick, if you'd like to support the channel, we'd greatly appreciate it. We have our FM Training annual subscription bundles. There's 3 of them. Pick the one that you so desire. They have a variety of. That's what I get for drinking too much Diet Coke. Excuse me. There is a variety of options available to you. Basically, as I talk about this pretty often, I know my regulars are probably sick of hearing this spiel, but it's the nature of doing this 5 days a week. Um, if you find the live streams are not sufficient enough for you for some reason, either you don't like the style, we do tend to have them in a conversationalist style. You find the topics are erratic or they don't seem to be coming in any kind of order. That's because you just sign we sign presenters up what they want to talk about as they feel like talking about it, which means that we can bounce from very beginner to very intermediate to very advanced very quickly. As we, have a lot of, host a lot of people from the FileMaker community. But as a result, if you are like, I really need a basic beginner from FileMaker to this, I want to get to this level of FileMaker, you probably won't find the live stream sufficient. This is what our video training course is for. Um, People who have bought it, thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated. Hopefully it's of some use to you. They're also very animated and they're very short and they're all edited. It's not like live streams where you have, someone chatting on for an hour. So, I think I've hit the end of my spiel. I know you got a lot to cover, Nick, so I'm gonna hand it over to you. Nick, what are we doing today?
Hello. Okay, so what we do today, we do the double click. Okay, double click, it's not a natural event in the FileMaker realm, right? So it's not natural, it's not built in, it's not out of the box. Don't ask me why, but it's not. So we need to make it. So I've been working on that double click stuff since 25 years. And I recently optimized it even more. you know so it's not complicated, but you need to understand how that works, right? But you understand the benefit of the double click, right? Because imagine a computer where you have no double click, right? So imagine that you have no this notion of the double click, that are launch something, open something, like open a folder, launch an application, open a file, so the double click is part of the um, modern computers since 1984. So, and when I was at FileMaker, right, I had the chance to talk to developers that were working with computers, with C++, developers. And they explained to me how the double click works in their computer, right? How the system, how Windows and how Apple manage double click. Windows has its own way to manage double click. That's why the double click on Windows is not working like quite like in the Mac, and the Mac has its way to handle double click, right? Double click is complicated because there's a lot of accident possible with a double click. And recently I managed to avoid one accident. Okay. And I was working on this for years and I finally got it, right? Like sometimes, you work on something and you get up at 2 a.m. and poof, you have the idea. And so what the double click could be, uh, beneficial in FileMaker. So let me stop my video and share screen. Are you seeing my screen?
Yep.
Okay, good news. Okay, so what the double click can do. So we all know the click, right? The click we know, we click here, we click here, we click here. We have clicks, right? But the double click can open a new window, open a new dimension, right? Dimension. For example, here, I want to rename this, right? So what do? I double click. Makes sense, right? Because one click selects, double click, edits. I select, I select, I select. If I double click, I edit, right? So that one way we can use double click. And here I can select, right? And if I double click, well, I want to open this site. I want to go to that site. So the double click avoids the use of a button open, right? Or go, or an arrow, right? It avoid this. If I double click here, right? I go to the site. He goes, boom, right? So double click, if I double click here, right? I go back to the contact, right? So double click, it's very useful for many, many of those reasons, right? So you can do whatever you want with a double click, right? So how double clicks works? We launch a script, right? So let's bring the script right quick here. So we launch the script. We click the first click, right? So we gather. Okay, forget about that for now. Okay? Forget about that. We say, okay, we launch the scripts, right? The scripts, we set a click number, right? Which is which click plus one, right? So when this is empty, this will be one because it will be like 0 plus one, right? Empty plus one, it's one, right? If I do this, FileMaker do this. If I say empty plus one, it say one, correct? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's because FileMaker will get that as 0. Okay? Because 0 or this for FileMaker, they're the same thing. Okay? So we click the first time, right? I set this, how many click I made. The first click, it will be one, right? Forget about that for now. Then I say, okay, if the click is one, right? If the click is one, if this is the first click, well, do whatever you should do, right? When I click, which is here, a set of fields. This is when you click somewhere, you set a field with something, right? And then you wait for some time. Here, 25th of a second, right? You wait. And then what happened during this 25th of second? If nothing happened, well, it commits and skip this and do this, do this, do this, and puff, the script goes. Right? If I click once, that's what it do. It set that with one. Then he said, okay, if the click is one, do whatever you want to do. Wait a little bit. Then if nothing happened, commit, finish the scripts as is. Now, what happened if I click a second time? But if I said I click once, so that will be one. Then I do this and I wait. And if during that 25th of second, I click again, right? If during the 25th second I click again, what happened? The script's running is killed. And I'll show you how we do that. The script running is killed, leaving this variable in the air with 1. Because here, if I click a second time, I killed that script. It's dead. So it couldn't have reset this because during that pause, the script is gone. So it couldn't have done this. So since this is a global variable, this stays, is there in the air, okay? Is in the air. I killed it, right? But is there with 1. So if you click, if you're there and you click another time, you kill the script and relaunch the script because you click twice. So the click kills the script before, but relaunch it. Okay, you relaunch the script. So this says, okay, whatever the click plus 1. So if this was 1, now it becomes 2. Okay? So he said, okay, so now this is 2, it's no longer 1. Correct? So what happened if this is 2 and no longer 1? Right? Well, this is ignored. And I go there. I said, okay, if the click equal number 2, if click equal 2, then perform a script with parameters. And then the script runs, and then I reset this for the next. So let me explain this variable business here because this is important, right? This is important to understand. Do I have the revert? Yeah. This is important to understand. Okay, how to replace a variable by itself. Okay. Before we go to the question, I want to, let's say I'm setting uh, um, oops, I need to sit down better because I'm setting a global variable with click, right? And I said click plus 1. So itself plus 1. And I continue, like this. So what happened if I run that script? Here. So here. Okay. So what happened when I do this, right? I run this, so I have no click here, right? I have no click. So this become 1 because it was 0, it was empty, ergo 0 plus 1. And now what I say, okay, click. Now it become 2, 3, 4, 5. It get itself whatever there and it add 1. That's what it does, right? So I can continue like this. So you can call you call the variable, right? You call the variable, whatever the variable was there, and you add something to it, right? So that's what it does. So you can call the variable to itself. So I call the variable, this one, I call it again here inside, right? So I get this, correct? So this is how I make the second click, the second, I get this number 2 because I add the second click will add 1 to the previous value that is inside the variable. Do we have any questions?
Not a moment, no. So you are good.
But do you guys get it?
I think so. Are we following everybody? Or are we confused? Waiting for people to type. Good to go. Good
Okay.
here. Yeah, okay.
Okay. So here, how I kill the scripts, how I can kill a script. So let's go to the system here. So when I click here, so let's see how it works, okay? I click one, I run the script. So I said the click here, I have no click, right? So I click here, both. Now I have click, boom, here, 1, right? I do this, whatever. And then I said, okay, click 1, right? Because this is correct. The click equal 1. Run this, wait during 25 of second, commit, and then, close the script, right? Both, go away. If I click here, I go there to the pause, and then I click again, right? So remember here, click here, right? The click here is 1. I click again, I kill the script. The script is gone, right? Destroyed. And I launch it again. So now the variable here will become 2. I do this, and then I said, okay, now do whatever you're supposed to do with the scripts, which is go to object, both, right? And the if, and reset. Okay, correct? So how I can kill the script by clicking? Well, this is a function we have in FileMaker since 1984. This. When you click on the button, what do you want the thing to do? Alt current scripts, exit current script, resume current script, or pause current script. I want to alt current scripts, right? I want to alt. So what's the difference between alt and exit? Exit will close the script, kill the current script where you're in. Alt will alt all script running. I could use the exit, right? But it's stronger halt. Halt is, you kill everything. All script running, not only the current one. Okay. I can make a webinar about this too, but this is not the purpose today. What we need to know is that you, by default, when you create a button, by default, it comes pause current script. This is the default option. Okay, when you click, that's the default option. So you need to change this to halt if you want the double click to work, because it's the first click will launch the script, and the second one clicking with this option of killing the current running script, well, that's kill it. It kills it, right? So this is how the double click works, right? So you have this. Yeah, I need to be careful because this is not where I want to go here. So you have the first click and the second, two options, two different conditions. Okay. The first need to be the first click, right? On the first, you don't put the second here. You put click one, you do this, you wait. So the speed of the double click, how many click, 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 or click, 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 or click, click. Pretty much, I don't know if I have here on the Mac because it's dynamic here. Point and click. Yeah, we don't have the double because the Apple, the speed of the double click will adjust itself, learning your dexterity, right? So the Mac knows, but the PC you have the click speed. Okay, so how many times you want to wait between two clicks to understand it as a double click? For example, if I open here, if I click, 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 it doesn't do the double click because it's too slow. Okay, but if I click, click, I open. If I click, click, it open. But if I click, click, it open. If I click, click, it's still opening. And if I click, click, boom, too slow. So click, click, open. Click, click, open. Click, click, puff, too slow. So this, you make it here. Of course, this value can be something you specify in your system, in your preferences. You can say, okay, you have people, they want slower double click and people want faster double click. You can make it, okay? But in my experience, I noticed that 25th of a second, it's enough to understand the double click, right? So if I go here, click, click, edit, right? Click, click, edit. If I do click, click, edit, right? So I allow, click, click, it edit. If I do click, click, it doesn't edit. Too slow. Click, 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 it edit, right? So you can control this double click business here with this. Okay. So now, do we have any questions?
The option for running the script is only for the pause/resume script step.
Yeah, so this is the time I allow you to decide if you want to do the second click. This is the waiting time. This is the length of this is a time where I allow you to actually click again to understand it as a second click. If you don't, if you do the double click after the 25th of second, it's no longer a double click. It's a second single click because
Hey,
it
Nick,
lasts
can
too
you
long. Like, yeah,
pause briefly?
go ahead.
Someone's saying they can't hear you. Is that just David, or is that we having audio issues? I can hear you. Okay, we're good. Okay. You're,
Okay,
yeah, you're good.
okay. So other question?
Uh, nope. Though, do you want to answer that one again? Because the person you were answering couldn't hear you. So,
Yeah, so the pause is the lapse I give you to decide, the lapse of time, I give you to decide if you want to make a double click, right? So if you pass this 25th of second, well, and if you click again after that 25th of second, it won't be a double click anymore. It will be a second single click. If I click and click and click and click, is okay. Yeah. So click, 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 click. This is not a double click. It's too slow, right? But if I double click like this, click, click, now it's a double click because it was between the second click happens. It happened before the 25th of second waiting time, right? So it understand that it's a second click, right? And you decide this here, right? So you can adapt. If it's too slow, you can say, okay, I want 25th of second, right? So so in that case, you need to be, if you click, 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 it's slower, right? So that means I need to double click faster, right? But uh, the 25, it's good. It's a good average. Any questions?
Nope, just people mentioning they want this demo file.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure. So sure. The so now there's a problem with double click, and this is where I had accidents in the past, right? I had accidents in the past. So let's say I'm not covering this, right? So I ignore this. Just do this. This is what happened. Okay, I need to maybe faster. Oh, sorry. I need to make it here. Okay. So let's say I'm not taking care of that accident, possible accident. That means I don't put like a traffic light, at the corner. So this is what happened, right? I click here and here. I mean, I'm here. I click here and clear. He understands the second. I click on another row, and he understand that as a second click, and then he launch. So I'm here. I will click here and here, right? I click here and here. I click here, here. You understand the second click as a double click. But since the double click happened between two records, well, this is not what I want. It's an accident. If I do this and this, if I do this and this, I don't want the double click. I want that to be ignored. It's an accident. I want that to be ignored. So that's why I have this to prevent the accidents, right? And it took me a while to, figure out it, So now that I have the traffic lights, right? If I do this and this, no longer, right? It's no longer a double click. See? It doesn't understand that as a double click. I can do this. It won't activate. It won't activate because I put the traffic light. I say it's an accident covered. So to do that in a very fast manner, because that's the problem. You are dealing with a tenth of a second, right? And everything needs to be fast. Otherwise, it doesn't work because normally I don't show this. So showing the thing here, it was, when you don't have this, it's faster, So you click, you do everything happen in a very, very small amount of time. So that's why everything you do in the script needs to be fast. To do that fast, okay, I'm using this technique. So you need to bear with me, okay? First, when you set up the double click button. Okay, you need to say what it's going to do, you know, and this script is universal. That means it works for any context. You can use the same script for any button you have. Okay, not just, you know, it's valid for all the buttons. So here, the first variable here, you get the name of the field you want to set here, right? You get the name of the field. Then you get the data you want to put in that field. Then you get the script name you want to trigger in the eventuality of a double click. And then maybe you have parameters for that script if you want to send a parameter to that script. So here I have two actions. It's a double click, double action. First action, right? So I can make it like this. First, you know, the first click, okay? Yeah. So during the first click, and here during the second click, correct? During the first click, I'll do this. I set a field with something inside. And the second click, right? I perform a script name with some parameters. Make sense? Click one, click two, okay? During the first, during the second. So I gather that information, okay? So this is this is from the parameters, right? So I'm getting the parameters and that's what I'm getting. So here, what I'm doing, here the data, right? If I click two times, here I'm setting a field, right? So I get this, click here, right? And I set a field here, right? Correct? If I click here again on the same record, well, the data here will be the same for the second click, correct? So I'm getting here the data, which is an ID most of the time, okay, to activate a record, right, to make it active. Those are records. When I click here, I select, when I click here, I set a field with the ID of that record, right? So I have a global. Let's show you. So it selects, I think it's a select here. I think is this, no. Oh, I don't remember. Let me see which one. It's the entity value list. Okay, so here, entity value list. So this is the field I'm setting, right? With the ID of that field, of that record. So each record here, come on. Will come to when I do Zoom, I have a very good internet though, but Zoom is destroying everything. Are you still there?
Yes, absolutely.
Marge? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so I need to wait. Okay.
Need to compare. We have a question.
Yeah,
Need to
so
compare.
yeah, so let me finish this first.
Okay.
When I click here, I set that field with the ID that is here, D6E, right? I click here, D6E, D6E. If I click here, so I'm setting the fields with the ID here when I click once. But if I click twice, that will be the same ID, right? So let's show you. I'm here and I click once. Oh, I need to debugger. I click once. So this current click here, right? I'm setting, right, with whatever ID I click on. F6EE, F6EE. Okay. I go there. Then I set the field. Right? And then I kill because I'm going to click a second time. So this current ID here is still here. Okay. If I click again, I'm going to reset that, but I'm going to put a second one. I have a current ID 2. I'm going to come here. I'm going to explain you. So this one was the first click. This is from the second click. Those two ID are identical. Ergo, I double click on the same record. So this now is valid. Current ID equal current ID 2. The two here are equal. Then this is valid. This works. What happened now? So let me reset everything. Okay, so now I have this, yeah. Because I killed the script. It's okay, I'm going to reset this. I don't know why I have this spinning wheel every while, every once in a while. So, sorry for the waiting time.
I had to get like a Jeopardy theme song. There we go.
Yeah, okay. Oops. So I need to reset this ID number 3 here. So let me reset this. Oh, no. Each time I have this waiting time, it's because I'm connected to that file. That file had a problem. I can. It's annoying though. Sorry for that. So boop, 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 boop. Each time I'm clicking, I have this waiting time. What my internet do? It's not that bad though. It shouldn't be. Well, Starlink is working fine. Okay. Okay, here we go. So let me reset that current ID 3. Oh, let's current. So how you reset a current ID 3 equal nothing. Boom. So it's gone. Okay. So let's do it again. But now I'm not going to click on the same record. I click here. Okay. And I click here, right? So I do this, right? Everything okay. So I have current ID. I set the field, pause, and I kill. Then I click on the second record, but it's not the same. So I click here once and I click here now, right? So now this current ID 2 are not equal. Ergo, this is not going to happen. That means is not a second click. See, he skipped it. It's not a second click. He skipped it, right? Right? So that's why he ignores it if you click out in another record. So I covered the accident. So how I can get this current, how I can get that variable with two free, okay, I'll show you. Going here, and I'm going to set this. So set, oh, okay, I could just keep one. I do this, repetition 1. This one, I set repetition 2. Here, I set repetition 3. And here, I set repetition 4. Right? So I will have, it's the same variable, right? But with 2, 3, 4. So if I do this, right? So we here, click, right? Click, click, click. See, it goes 2, 3, 4, right? See, 2, 3, 4. So you have like a multi-value variable. So how I'm deciding, right? Here in this script here. So let me reset this because it's the real stuff. It's not. So how I decide, how I getting the click 2 and click 1, right? In the script. Well, here I have which click number I'm in. Okay. So the first click says, okay, I'm setting the variable with 1 here. Okay. Which doesn't show bracket 1 bracket. It doesn't show that. When it's 1, it doesn't show bracket 1 bracket. It shows just the name. When I click a second time, well, I'm going to set that variable with the number of the click. So if I click twice, this will be data 2 because that will be 2. So you ask the repetition to be the click number for that variable, right? So that's a good trick when you want to create many variable, but not creating a second variable per se. It's the same, but with a repetition. You understand? Do we have any questions?
Yes. Do you need to compare the value in the field to accept the second click in portals?
Do you need to?
Compare the value in the field to accept the second click in portals.
A second click in portals. I don't understand the question.
Oh, okay. David said that you already answered his question. So,
Okay. Yeah. So this was to avoid the accident of clicking on another record, right? That was, for an accident, right? So I want to avoid the accident, so I create this, right? You understand?
yes.
So let me let's use this now, and let's create a button, right? So where's my window? Contact, yeah, contact. Okay, let's create, let's use one of those buttons, right? And make a double click. And the double click will be, this is a double, like, second click, right? Second click. It will be like um, uh, show dialog, right? And here I want to show the get script parameter. Right? So I'm going to the double click here. We launch that script, correct? So the first click, I'm going to set a field. I'm going to set, for example, this field with something, right? And that's the first click. And then I'm going to set the second click. So how you do this? Well, you have a button here and you call the scripts, which is this. But you need to put parameters in that script. Okay? We need 4 parameters, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So we have 4 parameters. We create a list. And what will be the first parameter? Well, I get the field name of the target field, right? So I want to put something in title. That's the first parameter. The field name, which field you're going to set. And you put that and you call the field with the get field name. I want the name of the field. I don't want the content of the field. If I do this, I get the content of the contact title. I want the name of the field contact title. Okay. Then I want something, right? Whatever I'm going to put in that field. Then I want the script name. Okay. Right. And then I want the parameter. That my 4 script parameters. Okay. That for the first click and that for the second click. Okay. That is the field name I'm going to set. This is what I'm going to put in the field name in the field. This is the name of the script I'm going to perform during the double click, right? And this is the parameter I'm going to send to the scripts, right? So I click once, I get my data, right? Right. So I get all things. Yeah, I will have. I need to. Clear those. Otherwise, it will. I need to clear those. Click. Oh, click, not data. I need to clear click. Why is not click equal? Oh, sorry. Okay. Click's gone. I need to clear 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So I'm going to click 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, it's to clear those variables. Okay. So I got all of those things. So script name, script parameter, the target field, contact title, whatever I want to put in the so I clear the data, so I need to click again. Okay, so I got this, right? So I'm on the first click, I have the data, I have the field name, the script name, and the parameters. This is my control. Okay, this is to control if the second click will be equal, right? So I'm here. I set the field, so I set Mr. here, right? And I'm doing the pause and I click again. I kill the scripts. The click number 1 still there. the data is still there. Everything is gone, but this stays to check if the double click, is the same. So I go there. So now the data, right? So I click here and clear. So I do it again, and then the click will become 2, right? Data, I have the accident data, and now I have the double click, say the script name, which script I'm going to execute, which is the second click, show dialog with a parameter, and the show dialog say hello Nick. So I have my double click, right? Let's see. See? One click set and double click open. Double click open. Right? So now, before we go for the question, if what's the name? You don't want to set a field. You just want a double click, right? You want the single click to do nothing. Okay? Correct? That means either way, you don't want the double click, right? Or you don't want the single click. You don't want to set a field. You just want a double click. You don't want an action, like this button, you want just double click. What you do, you remove this. Let's duplicate that button. You remove this and you put no. Oops. And here too. Right? So what happened here? Well, the first click, oops, I need to do this. Right? I go, right? But the first click will fail because field is missing, right? You understand? So it fails, which is perfectly okay, right? So I continue, I pause, and then you have the second click, and then the second click won't fail because I have the information and I have my stuff. So the first click does nothing. If you click once, it does nothing, right? Double click does. If you want so this is the button for first click and second, right? This is only for the second click. And this is only for the first. So let's say you don't want a double click, right? So you do the opposite. So you copy this, right? So if you want only the first click, you just ignore those. You don't put anything, right? When you want only the double click, you need to have null. But if you don't want the double click, you just want one click, then you just ignore, right? So in that case, now it click here, but the double click doesn't do anything, right? So here you have only the double click. Here you have both, first and second, right? See, click and double click. It does both, correct? So do we have any questions? I think.
I don't see any at the moment. So people think about questions. This is really cool. This is extremely cool. This is one of those, this should be default in the product capabilities, but the fact that you can script it and make it work like this is really awesome. So,
Yeah, the double click is missing in FileMaker, right? It's something I don't understand why they don't just put like, you know, an option. But anyway, you know, of course you cannot rename that script, right? Because if you
mhm.
rename it, you break it.
Oh, yeah.
But that's okay, you know,
You I
it's not
mean
a
you
big
can you can you can tell when you first name it, you can tag it as do not rename or resequence or anything. We've
yeah,
got a
yeah.
couple
So
of
when
those floating around. Yeah.
yeah, to do that, I'm putting that in a folder. So I'm creating a folder here, right? And I say do not rename. And I'm putting the script in the folder, right? So then I know that those you don't rename. You don't rename, right? So instead of putting do not rename in the script name, you just put that in a folder like this. Do not rename. And then your script name is clean. You don't have pollution in the script name, right? Correct?
Yes. That's yeah, we do that a lot. There's some web stuff that we have where we have that labeled and it's don't touch that. Do not touch the
Yeah, of
folder.
course. You are many places in FileMaker where you cannot rename something like, but you have a good example
Hmm.
when you have a like HTML connection with the website and stuff. You can't rename scripts like you can't rename anything in you know, if you work on Java or JavaScript, or if you work on with Xcode or C++. If you know, I remember uh, that meeting and reunion with her at FileMaker when I was over there, uh, what the implication of renaming this, right? And I say, oh, if we rename this, we have like 5 days of work, two people, right, to fix the name, right? So renaming wasn't something like, oh, I just rename it. In FileMaker, we spoiled child. You know, you rename the script, everything works, you know, but that's FileMaker. And sometime when you use objected oriented type of coding, right? Like I do here, this is objected oriented object coding technique. You don't rename stuff when you use that technique. It's not possible, right? So that's it. You know, you know, sometimes you can't rename, sometimes you cannot.
Hmm. No, absolutely. Yeah, this is cool. This is one of those things that like this is fun to implement and
Yes.
it's a really satisfying because like I said, people expect double click to be a thing. Like they expect that you can double click things. It's a very common.
Yes, I think so too. You know, I think it's you know, first click, second, and first and second. So then you have all the buttons here. I can remove this, and remove, just clean, and then you can just, you know.
I'm letting people type. Uh, any questions or anybody? I don't see any questions. So,
Yeah, it's not that complicated. I mean, I understand this is like cheesy, let's say,
hmm.
you know, but you know, it's to prevent the accident of clicking on another record, right?
Yes, that would be bad. So,
And it's still not perfect, right? It's still not perfect. It's work in progress. This, you know,
hmm.
because I know I have other issues, but it's not something that comes frequently.
No, I'm sure there's like potential problems that could pop up, but you know, it's one of those things where like until you run into that exact case, you're pretty much free to go. So, this has been an excellent series on layout design. Thank you, Nick. Oh,
Yeah.
we do have a question.
Yes.
Curious
Oh,
about why some variables are local, but the click and data are global.
okay. This it's I want that to leave during the current script only. this I want to stay even though I'm killing the scripts. If I kill the script, this, all of those
Wait,
goes.
really? Pauses get rid of local variables?
No, it's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
When you pause and you click again,
Okay.
kill the scripts. That's what I explained. No, the
Oh,
second
yeah.
click.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. I was briefly,
So yeah,
sorry, I misunderstood.
so killing the scripts, you this gone. But I want this to stay because because the second click will with feeds with the previous click, and this will feeds with the previous script as well. Then I can do the comparison here. Correct?
That makes sense. Ken, did you
Which
follow?
yeah,
Or
which is I have a mistake here. It's current it's data and data too. So you understand? So that means that's why this I want that to go when I kill the script here, but I want that to stay for the second one. And then when the second one goes, I reset this, which is also I have a problem here. You understand? So I want that to reset. I reset those,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. The response is, yeah, I just want to confirm that, like there's global data and local data, but I think I got it now.
Yeah, because this will stay, even though script goes, when I kill it, this stays for the second click, and then I can feed the second click with whatever it was there. And at the end of the second click, I close this. I mean, you know,
Yes, that makes sense. Okay.
reset.
You reset it after the second
Yeah.
click. Okay. Cool. I don't see any other comments, just that this is cool, which it is. Thank you very much, Nick. The series has been awesome. Seriously, I've learned a lot. People have learned a lot watching. Thank you, everyone, for
Okay.
coming. Y'all have a lovely day.
Thank you.
And Nick,
See,
I will see you at the end of May, I suppose.
that's at the end of the month. Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye. See you soon.
Yep.